Ever notice how sometimes just one headline, it can give you a hint
Yeah.
that there's a way bigger story, like there's more to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of where we are today, right?
Yeah.
We've got this article. It's from ABS-CBN Sports, and it was published, well, today, March 28th, 2025. And get this, it's about Alex Eala.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Filipino tennis star.
Right.
But the headline, it's all a buzz about this historic run she had in Miami.
Right.
And then you see all this praise pouring in from like other athletes, all
Well,
sorts of personalities,
I see, I see.
So it's making us think.
Yeah.
What's the real story here?
Makes you curious.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this deep dive, what's interesting is the article doesn't really go into like the nitty-gritty play-by-play details.
Oh, yeah.
It's more about the reaction, It's huge.
Oh, I see.
And that's what's got us intrigued, the fact that so many people, especially people in that world, in high-performance sports, they're all taking notice. So it tells us something pretty remarkable must have happened.
Right, right.
And I think our mission here is to try and understand what kind of achievement is it that creates this kind of buzz, even without knowing all those little details.
Yeah, okay. So when you see that phrase, historic run, I mean, what comes to mind for you? Especially thinking about a younger player like Ayla, what
Yeah.
could it mean?
Well, good question. I think historic, when we're talking about a star on the rise, it usually means a breakthrough moment,
Ah, right.
It could be, let's see, maybe it's her first time reaching a certain stage in a big tournament. Maybe she beat some seeded players. Or could even be that she just played her best ever against higher-ranked opponents, something like that.
I see.
And the fact that you see all these other athletes praising her, it suggests they recognize something special. Maybe it was the effort, the skill, or maybe even just how tough she was mentally. The kind of thing athletes get because they've been there.
It's like their own language almost.
Yeah, that is.
Like they get it, they respect what she did, even if the rest of us don't know all the ins and outs.
Precisely, yeah.
What kinds of achievements do you think really cut through all the noise? Like the ones that get recognized across different sports, you know what I mean?
Right, right. It's got to be more than just winning. I think it often has that underdog element to it, Someone defying expectations, maybe they show incredible talent when no one thought they would. Or sometimes it's a performance that makes you think, wow, this person's going to be dominant. Think about other sports, athletes who've had those breakout moments. It usually involves skill, yeah, but also a really compelling story. And for Ayala to be getting this kind of attention, it tells me her run in Miami probably hit on one of those things, maybe even a few of them.
And it's interesting, right? Because it's not just athletes talking about it. The article says personalities are chiming in too. So that means it's reaching people beyond just sports fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think it is about some achievements in sports that makes them connect with people who wouldn't normally follow that sport?
I think it's the human element,
Okay, yeah.
Like, we all connect with stories about resilience or inspiration. Maybe there's an element of surprise in Ayla's performance. Or maybe it's because she's a young athlete coming from where she does and achieving this. Those kinds of stories, they go beyond just the sport. They touch people on an emotional level.
So even though we don't have every single detail about the matches, the fact that the reaction has been so positive, so overwhelming,
It tells you something.
it does.
Yeah.
It really does. It paints a picture of something big, something meaningful. And the fact that it resonated so strongly, not just with sports fans, but beyond, I think it shows just how much of an impact Alex Eala is having and the potential she has.
Couldn't agree more. Even though the source we have today, it just gives us the broad strokes, this deep dive, I think it highlights how powerful recognition can be.
Yeah.
This was clearly a performance that earned a lot of praise from a lot of people. And it makes you think, what is it that makes a moment in sports truly historic? And how does that collective acknowledgement from other athletes, how does that amplify what it means, not just for the moment itself, but for where that athlete's career might go next?
It really does make you wonder what's next for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if this was a historic run, what could we see in the future? What other achievements might grab that kind of attention or even more? It's exciting to think about. Thanks for going on this deep dive with me.
You got it.
I really appreciate it.